this video. I'm going to try and keep it short because loads to talk about with this one. But got a new truck. Joined the Australian dream life with 4x4. Been looking for a 4x4, been wanting to get one, because if you want to get to some really cool places a little bit further afield, you really do need a 4x4 with some ground clearance. You can get around fine in a car, but yeah, if you want to get to some really cool places, you really want four-wheel drive and yeah, a bit of height, some off-road tyres probably. But anyway, sort of looking for, obviously I like old cars, and then because before we came to Australia, sort of thinking if I get a 4x4 I want some diesel, mechanical, reliable, because obviously in Australia you have fires, you have a lot of like natural disasters like fires, floods, storms, so I wanted something that was really good and reliable and would get you out of the crap in any situation. So obviously you got to look for a Toyota. Been keeping my eye out for a good Toyota, and then I've always liked, when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, I always liked the look of the Toyota Surf, and found this one, which the only thing I didn't like about it is it's an auto, as you can probably hear, but I'm getting used to it and I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to service the gearbox and make sure it's all working mint and as it should do, get everything working right, and if I'm still not happy with it, then eventually one day I'll do a manual conversion. But yeah, for now it's fine. But yeah, this one, picked this up, Toyota Hilux, 4-wheel drive. I didn't want a Ute, I wanted like a Toyota Hilux, but the tray back sort of Ute is pretty useless for me. The back would never get used, so I wanted like an SUV body with the boot, and be a lot more useful for me. So Surf was just like, yeah, that's all. Found this really cheap. Well, not really cheap enough, a lot cheaper than a lot of them that are out there. Good condition body, reasonable k's mileage, diesel, 92, Jap import, so it's quite highly spec'd. It's an SSRX, so it's like a wide arch body one, a few bits missing, but anyway, picked it up. Had like stupid problems to fix. Drove it back in rain with like no water temperature working at all, and it's got like an aftermarket rad, so I was worried that it was going to overheat. Didn't really know if it was going to. No oil pressure gauge. Speedo was just reading off the chart. It was like 160k on the clock, and it was like almost off the clock. It was off the clock a couple of times. Got it back. Had to do a few things that week, like I had an oil leak. Like looked into it, disturbed it. It got a lot worse. Had to fix that. Power steering. I had to put a belt on the power steering yesterday. I adjusted it, but the belt was completely knackered. Back brakes were there was no brakes when I drove it back as well. That was a bit of a problem. So the foot pedal was just going all the way to the floor. Really crap brakes. Turned out the rear brakes were just a million miles out of adjustment. So I had to sort that straight away. So I've been driving it a couple of weeks, and then just almost by pure fluke, I guess, but like just to prove why I bought it. There's like, we've had a week of rain, like over 100 mil a day in this town. Mid-North Coast is just flooded terrible, and just proved to me like, yeah, why I wanted a diesel, reliable old fucking 4x4, because you get stuck in something like that, you need to know that it's going to keep going. So yeah, that was reassuring. But yeah, I've tried not to do anything with it. I've had to put some mats in it because I've been climbing in and out with my mucky work boots all week. I've got some seat covers to go in. It smells like an ashtray It smells like the 90s sort of. Yeah, it needs a real good clean. But yeah, let's I'll do some more videos now. We'll do some videos of interior and outside, maybe see what else I've not spoke about or what I'm planning on doing. So I think I said earlier in that last video that I've not done anything with it apart from things I absolutely had to because it was falling apart, sort of things, safety stuff like brakes, and I'm using it for work every day at the minute, and with the weather being crap, that was really good timing. So yeah, I had to do a couple of things, but I really wanted to just leave it untouched, just so we can look back on it and see how it was when I bought it and how much it changes. So I'll maybe get a lot of pictures as well, but this video will be a good reference for what it was like. But yeah, generally it was like, you know, pretty tidy truck, bit of paint fade on the roof and on the bonnet. See the roof. Typical Australia stuff, nothing unusual. The only rust appears to be that bottom corner of that bumper. The body's really solid underneath. It's had some sort of protection on it, on the chassis. Somebody sprayed some sort of protection on it at some point, and I don't think it spent a lot of time on the beach, so that's good. But yeah, when I saw it for sale, I was buying it anyway. It was a couple of hours away. It had registration, or regos as they call it, so it was on the road in use. So I knew I was buying it. It was a good base for starting a new project. So interior, like I said, stinks, smells really old. I've not cleaned it. The windows are disgusting. There's grease and oil and crap everywhere. I don't know what this is on the steering wheel. There's a bit of moisture coming into the carpets both sides from the bulkhead, so I've got some grommets ordered, so I can start plugging some holes in the bulkhead and stop the water coming in. Seats are in pretty good condition. Usual bit of wear on the bolster. Need a good clean, but I've got some seat covers, some grey ones, which I've never been a fan of seat covers, but Australia makes some really good seat covers that fit really well. They're really tough, hard wearing, good quality. So I'm going to put some of those in so that hopefully I don't ruin these lovely light grey seats getting in and out with all my crappy oily greasy crap wet gear on, and then we don't have to get them reupholstered every year. Bit of damage to the dash, but everything's still there. It did have fancy electronic shock absorbers from new, but it's had shocks and springs on it to lift it, so it doesn't have that anymore. It does have air conditioning, but somebody's removed the aircon pump out the engine bay, so we need to find one of those. It's got this crap stereo. I've not even tried listening to it. It did turn on, but it looked about the same age as the truck, so that's that. The dash mat is completely knackered and worn out, but it's doing its job. It's protecting the dash. The dash, I don't think it's got any cracks, so that can stay there for now. Yeah, there's a fair bit of moisture in this corner, so I need to sort that out. I need to find out where it's coming from. But yeah, generally it's all pretty good in here. Everything seems to work. Not quite figured out what everything does, but yeah, it's I'm quite pleased with it. Well, I'm more than pleased with it. I'm really happy with it. So I've got, let's say, the floor mats to go in. We'll get the carpet scrubbed up, get everything clean, try and get it smelling better. I think there's a bit of damage on that door card. It's up there. Might be able to do some sort of repair with that. Would be nice. Wheels, aftermarket wheels, black track 4x4 wheels. Cheap tyres by the looks of it. Not sure what they are. And also, annoyingly, it's only got 3. I think they're an all-terrain rather than a mud tyre. I know they're a mud tyre. It's only got 3 and then one all-terrain tyre, which is really annoying me at the minute. But I don't have to buy a set of wheels for it just now, so I'll just keep my eye out. And I've got some ideas for wheels anyway. I'm not sure I'm going to stick with those. I'll keep 2 for a spare, because I can put a spare up underneath, but I can also put a spare on the back door, and I don't have any at the minute, so we'll sort that out. It's got a snorkel for all your off-road deep water adventures, but it's not plumbed in. It's got this cheap aftermarket air filter, and the snorkel's not even going anywhere, so we need to get the original airbox to go in there and plumb the snorkel in and make it all watertight, so we can be safe if we do go through some deep water. Engine's pretty good, as you'd expect from an old mechanical diesel Toyota. Nice turbo diesel, makes decent power. You could do with a bit more, but we can work on that because it's mechanical diesel, and we can chuck some extra fuel in quite easily, and it's not intercooled, so we've got loads of easy power to get from there, because we just put an intercooler in this system. We can get a hell of a lot more air into the engine, which means we can chuck a lot more fuel in there, which means we can make a lot more power. That's where the aircon pump should go, but somebody's nicely removed it. Apparently it was leaking, so they got rid of it. Aftermarket aluminium radiator. Not sure why, whether it's had trouble, whether these engines struggle in the Australian heat or not, I don't know, but we'll do a complete flush of cooling system. Got some flush to clean all the engine out, and we'll do the same with the engine, flush that. I've got timing belts, all the drive belts on the way for it. I've got all the filters, they've come. So we'll completely service everything. Gonna completely service the gearbox, make sure everything's mint. Some cool stuff on this. It's got from factory lockable and free spinning hubs, so you just turn that little centre lock and that's locked your front hub in play, well, locked it into your drive shaft, and then freewheeling for just normal two-wheel drive, driving around town, saves you a bit on fuel economy because you're not spinning the drive shafts and all the front axle and all the front transfer case. Makes it a bit quieter apparently, and saves you a bit of wear and tear on components, on the front wheel drive components. You're just running it as a rear wheel drive. Just lock those in before you go off-road and sort of head into the forest and into the bush, so that then you just hit the lever inside and drop it in four-wheel drive and you're off. That all seems to work well at the minute. It's got a few grease nipples about, which is good. It's got grease nipples on the front ball joints, top and bottom, obviously prop shafts or tail shafts, whatever you want to call them. So everything's good, serviceable, repairable generally, long life sort of stuff. Rear end, I've got spare wheel missing, but everything's working to take a spare wheel. The odd thing about these cars, you need the key in the tailgate to lower the rear window because there's no handle on the outside, and then it is a tailgate, not an opening swinging boot. Drops down like the Hilux pickup, which I guess is because it's a Hilux surf. Just makes it a little bit awkward for putting your shopping in or using the boot. So we'll maybe at some point try and rig up a key fob and alarm to work the central lock in, because it's got central locking on the key on the door. We'll get an alarm set up at some point, I think, and put central locking on the button, and then also use a button for opening and closing the rear window so you can put stuff in the boot easily. But loads of room in here. Here's the bits we started gathering. Tyre repair kit, belts, that's the belt I took off the power steering
absolutely shafted, that one. Bits hanging off it, all sorts. So I had to change that because I basically almost had no power steering as well as no brakes. Filters, filter kit, air filter, oil filter, fuel filter, decent, good quality, decent rubber mats to catch all the mud and crap. It's good quality. Velour seat covers. I didn't go for the velour out of choice really. I went for the velour because they were the only grey ones that you could get, and I wanted to try and keep it matchy for everything else that's in the interior. So plans at the minute, now we've got this video made of just what it looks like originally, I'll get it cleaned up. I think that's the main thing, try and get the interior cleaned, scrubbed, smelling better, whilst waiting for service bits to turn up. Once all the service bits come, like the belt, the water pump, I'll get the engine flushed and get the cooling system flushed and try and flush the oil through the gearbox and put some decent stuff in that. I've got a new filter for that coming, but yeah, I'll flush out the crap with some cheap ATF and then put some decent ATF in it and try and get this gearbox working awesome. It's okay, I'm getting used to it. It feels like it might even be driving better than it was, the gearbox, when I first picked it up. I think it might have been stood for quite a while, so maybe just some clean fluid in it and it'll transform it, but it feels a bit sluggish, or it feels like the auto box is just slipping too much at the minute, so you don't get much drive sometimes. So yeah, hopefully that'll improve. And then yeah, suspension and brakes and all that stuff, I don't think you need to do much with the brakes. The rear drums are fine, they're massive, they work really well now they're adjusted up. I think the rear load sensing valve might be playing up a bit because the rears lock up quite easily, so I think there's too much bias going to the rear, which would explain why the rears were massively out of adjustment. So I might have a look at that. Suspension I think has been lifted 2-inch by the looks of it, on springs and shocks. Potentially I'll lift the body 2 inches as well, because you can body lift them really easily, just without any mods to anything really, just 2-inch blocks under the body mounts. That'll lift them up and give you more clearance for bigger wheels, bigger tyres, which all helps off-road. And then yeah, there'll be all sorts of stuff we can do. Make some bumper bars, make some rock crawler bars for the sides. Like I say, get some more power out of it really easily. Get an intercooler in the front. Get more fuel in it, potentially another turbo, but I don't think you'd need to. I think some good power out of that should be easy. I think that'll do, because I've rattled on for plenty long enough. Paint, I really like the colour, that metallic grey, really like it. So because it's faded on the roof and the bonnet, or the lacquer's peeled off, maybe it'll get a respray at some point. Maybe it'll get a Raptor coat just to make it tough and durable and potentially not paint fade like it has done. The only thing is with Raptor, you sort of lose a lot of that glossiness unless you put a lacquer on it, which then it's kind of pointless because it's not tough Raptor finish anymore. So we'll have a look at it, I'll have a look into that, but yeah, maybe something for the future. Love this little mirror, but we'll have to find a new glass for that, or potentially a new mirror for your blind spot on the left wing. Brilliant little idea. Yeah, I'm sure there's loads of other stuff I could talk about with it, but yeah, definitely rattled on for long enough. Keep tuned and see how she turns out. I'm sure it'll be a never-ending evolution. And one other point to make, I suppose, is the whole point in getting this thing is to go and adventure off-road, further afield, places where you can't normally get to. So this is not just going to be about the restoration of this thing. Hopefully it's just going to be seeing some cool places we can get to with it as well. Taking a nice old diesel truck into the bush where it belongs, putting it to use.